Let's talk, though, about police force. We know that failed the McCann family and the search for Madeleine McCann. We know that there's so much has been written about this in terms of the search by the Portuguese police. Basic failures in terms of the night when she was reported missing back in 2007. Some basic checks to be done, which could perhaps have saved her life if she, she'd been abducted from, whether from the apartment or wandering in the street looking for her parents, who, of course, who should never have left her and her siblings alone. Feel the need to say that. But we've got this search that started this week at a remote reservoir in Portugal. It's 30 miles from Praia da Luz, where she went missing. We've got the chief suspect in Germany, Christian Bruckner. We understand there's some photographs of him at this. This was his favourite place when he used to spend much time at near Praia da Luz in Portugal. And we understand the police have had a tip-off about something related to Madeleine McCann's case. I think most of us are assuming where her body may have been dumped, in the reservoir, nearby the reservoir. We've seen, we've got footage right now of police boats overseeing police divers underneath, but we've seen some, what looks like evidence being taken away. What's the latest we're hearing from there?
Well, the search is continuing, Julia, and we're not hearing that they've discovered anything of significance. I don't think we would expect to hear that immediately, but it's clearly a very detailed, thorough search of the area based on specific information that did not come from Christian Bruckner, but came from someone else. But I've got to say, looking at it from outside, as someone who's observed this case for many years, have seen previous searches. Remember, I think 2014, the area around Praia da Luz, it feels a bit desperate. This is not searching a room that's been closed and boxed off an interior. This is, this is land that's been exposed to the elements for 16 years. I would be surprised if they frankly find something of significance. Perhaps I'm wrong. I hope they do, because everyone would like this case to be solved. But it feels a little bit like this is too late. As you say, mistakes were made early on. This was probably an area that should have been searched much earlier. When
it was searched before, we understand. But again, as we've seen the case of Nicola Bully, police divers missing, and and that wasn't a huge reservoir, but police divers missing her body for all those days. I mean, just finally, I want to ask you, because we know millions have gone into this. We know British police are on the scene as well there. I mean, teams and teams of people have been on this case. If it was my daughter, absolutely. I mean, I would do whatever I could to get, hope. You never know. There's always that hope that she could be found alive. We've seen cases, in Austria and America, of children who've been locked in a cellar and have found alive many, many years later. You'd always have to hope, and it was your child. But even just to get closure, to know that she was dead and give her a decent burial, if that was the outcome. But so many millions in police resources, in taxpayers' resources going into this search, when there are many, many children that go missing and they don't get these sort of resources. Should we still be spending this money?
Well, politically, it's very difficult to pull the plug, isn't it, Julia? I mean, this search is being led by the German authorities. They're in the lead because they've got their prime suspect, Christian Bruckner, in custody, and they're putting most of the resource into this. Also, the Portuguese police. The British police have got a small team there. There's, I think, a couple of £1 million a year that go into this investigation, something like that.
It's a lot of money.
It is still a lot of money, but politically, would you be the Prime Minister, would you be the Home Secretary that said to the Metropolitan Police, we're not going to fund this anymore? I just raised that question.
I would, but I don't think our politicians are brave enough to do that. That's the sad thing, because I don't think anybody realistically thinks we are going to find her alive. And if there was still hope of finding her alive, I think then there would be a case. But given if you're trawling, if you're searching a reservoir, by definition, I think it's very, very difficult, but I think given where we are with the amount of resources going to be and how many cases don't get the investment and the resources they need, yes, I think I would be that ruthless, I'm afraid. Danny Shaw, really good to talk to you, really good for you to answer that and ask that question.